points out, you're not here to see me, you're here to see Justin Roiland, right?
Yeah.
I hope at least 6 of you have questions about Szechuan sauce. So let's bring him out. Without further ado, let's let him hear it real loud. Justin Roiland, everybody. Nothing like literal standing room only, turning people away on the Saturday of Con.
For me?
For you, man. So I want the vast majority of this to be you guys asking questions. I like starting things out with something a little open-ended, kind of get the vibe going and everything. A lot of people out here are big, huge Rick and Morty fans. I'm curious, origin story-wise, like going back to stuff that was like so many people totally obsessed with the show, right?
Yeah.
Rewatched the show over and over. What was that for you? Was it comics? Was it a TV show? Was it
Farscape? I was very obsessed with Farscape, unhealthily obsessed with it. And then, but when I was really young, Ren and Stimpy and Beavis and Butthead.
Billy West is on the con circuit too. Did you run into him?
I have not. I want to really. I think we did one, but I didn't get to see him because it's it's like
that's a.
But he's amazing. I'm a huge fan of him, of his. I'm a huge fan of his. That's probably.
Now he's doing what you guys do when you walk up to him. How surreal is it for you having people come up to you and like stumble over their words and be like, "You're the guy."
It's so weird. It's amazing. I'm so thankful, and like we're having so much fun making the show, and we're sort of in a bubble, you know. Like so, coming to things like this is really humbling and surreal for me because it's the one and only. It's like the few times where you kind of get to see how big the fan base is and how diverse it is. So, but yeah, it's super neat and weird, but it's awesome.
Well, on that same note, what's it like dealing with these huge expectations that you have, having such a huge fan base behind this thing, when it comes to altering course or changing the way that you do things? Has it affected that, or have you mostly been able to focus on letting the work be the work?
I'm a firm believer of having fun. Like, if we're not having fun, then it reflects on the show, I feel like. So, I try my hardest to not let the Reddit threads and the Twitter, like the fan theory. Yeah. I try to not read that stuff only because it can find its way into the deepest parts of your brain and it can affect, for sure, it can affect things. But, so, yeah, I've been pretty good about. Not, like, this hasn't really clicked yet. It's like so bizarre to me. Everything about this, from how popular the show is to the fact that I even have a show on TV, like everything is just like, because we're working so hard and we're in such a bubble in Burbank, like just, grinding on the show. But yeah, like I in terms of like outside influence, like we're definitely like feeling the pressure to keep the quality bar up, like we're definitely like, okay, this episode could be better, and we'll go in and like, we'll make an episode better that we think maybe isn't as good, which we continue to do that, and all the way to color. We were literally Dan and I just rewrote an episode that airs in 4 weeks. Like we just like went in, I'm not even kidding, like we went into the edit bay, we watched it down, and we're like, okay, we need to pop the hood on this one, and we pretty much rewrote half the episode. But I don't know. It's like we have an amazing team that's able to roll with us in those kind of South Park moments where it's like, okay, now we're working to get this thing all wrapped up and has to air in 4 weeks. So it's like the chaos of that. But yeah, it's definitely, that was fun. So it reflects in the episode. Like whenever we're having fun, it's like the episodes are better.
I'm going to give you one more, and then we're going to turn it over to you guys. I give priority to the most inventive cosplayers that are really enthusiastic about asking questions, because it's always a total riot seeing what you guys come up with. To the point of it being surreal and weird, what is the most surreal piece of merchandise that has come about from the show that you look at and you're like, how does this exist?
Okay, right now, it's the blow-up Gwendolyn blow-up doll.
It's still in the room? Hold on, we didn't check it before.
It says pool float, but it looks like a sex doll, kind of. But that is the most surreal, for sure, hands down. Because like they pitched that a long time ago, and I was like, there's no way that's ever going to get made. And then they made it, and I was like, I can't believe they made this thing. and it's on the Rickmobile, which is that in and of itself is like one of the most surreal things ever. That there's a giant Rick driving around. But I don't think there's no Canadian stops, right? It's not coming here. I'm so sorry, you guys. You
know what? I blame Trump. It's one of the many things he's done.
Yes, it's his fault. I am not in control of that where that thing goes, but I think you guys deserve a little Rickmobile love. Yeah! I'll see what I can do.
Creative wonderkin, plays to crowds like a pro. So, questions from you guys. This can rocket it up right here.
Hey, Justin. So, given that your show is largely a parody of sci-fi tropes, and particularly in your conversations with Dan Harmon on this, how far do you see the longevity of Rick and Morty lasting? Like, is Dan Harmon aiming for 6 seasons of a movie?
It's funny because we see the potential for the show to go really long, just because. If we stay away from getting super serialized, which we're getting a little serialized right now in season 3, but I think going forward we're gonna sort of we're gonna try to not go too serialized, like kind of how we were in the first and second season. So little things that have consequences and last, but nothing that's like locking us into some really complicated story that if you miss an episode, you're lost. But going back to that formula, I think the show could go for so many years. Because there's just so many crazy stories that we want to tell, that we could tell with the characters we have, and because it is sci-fi, and you can kind of almost do anything you want. Alternate realities are endless, space, the cosmos is endless, and then just the possibilities with the family, like doing really grounded stuff with the family. So and when Dan and I were developing the show, that was very much like we were very aware of that. Like we were like, oh my god, like we could tell stories at the school. So we have all this we could do high school related stuff, we could do family related stuff, we could do the craziest sci-fi thing in the world, and Rick can invent something like in 2 minutes, or in between a cut. Like in the Lawnmower Dog episode, he literally leaves the room, you hear sounds, and he comes back with a device. Like it takes him that quick to invent something. So the sky's the limit for storytelling. We kind of feel like the show is just super fertile soil for whatever we want to do for years and years. Almost kind of intimidatingly so. I'll let you pick. I'll let him pick.
Cosplayers only.
Jeez, we got a bunch of cosplayers.
You're my boy, Blue.
Meeseeks, ask me a question. Oh man, yeah. Oh god, there's so many that are like that. I think from Bobulous Michael.
Whoa. Are we talking spin-off here?
We keep trying to figure out how to bring him back. He's technically dead, but like, we live in the show lives in an infinite multiverse, so there's ways to do it, but yeah, like that character I feel like there's a great rich backstory with that character that we want to explore. I don't know, maybe we'll do like a backstory episode with that character. And it's Andy Daly. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show Review on Comedy Central, but if you haven't, please watch it. It's
demented and hilarious.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And it's very much him. It's that Crumbopulous Michael kind of personality. It's like really happy-go-lucky guy. And it just gets really dark, but it's so good.
The setup is this happy-go-lucky guy who has a TV show about reviewing things, life experiences, not movies, not books, not any of that kind of stuff.
Just
and
life.
Pancakes, Divorce, Pancakes is one of the greatest episodes of television.
It's so good.
It's so horribly terrible.
But if you watch it in order, because there is some serialized elements to it. It's very rewarding to watch in order. It's so good. But yeah.
Somebody with a gun back there. Calling you next.
Was the Vindicators episode the one you got really drunk for, and how drunk did you get?
I got blackout drunk. A round of applause and cheers.
It's fair to say you're still drunk.
Yeah, from that, I'm still drunk from that episode. I recorded it once sober, and then Dan was like, you need to be drunker. You need to just get, he's like, you have to actually get drunk. And I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. So, and then my assistant at the time, John, who's been doing all the BTS stuff, like all the weird, crazy BTS footage, like me with the race car, or the remote control car, he wrote and directed all that stuff. And he's like, should I come and film this? And I'm like, yes, you should film this. I think it's going to be filmable. And they actually, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they actually edited out a lot of the shots I took because I think somebody at the network was like, we probably shouldn't show just how much you drank for legal reasons. But yeah, like I almost finished off a whole bottle of tequila, which is scary. I had to for work. I had to.
No, you can't just drink.
It's true. It's like the one time in my life I can say like I had to get drunk for work.
What is this you have in your hand?
20%.
For me, I was wondering about like the same episode that the Marvelous Michael was in it. What was your idea for like Roiland, the video game?
So I remember that joke got pitched in the room, and I remember in the writer's draft, it was just a quick little thing, and I remember Dan doing his pass, and he like opened it up to like 3 or 4 pages, and it was that's all Harmon writing that whole section, it's a thing that I feel like a lot of us, hopefully in the room, and me and Dan for sure have thought about this. The idea that like when you die, like you suddenly wake up and you're like a squid alien, and there's like another squid alien with like a clipboard, and you take a thing off, and all your whole life was this crazy, like, I don't know, it was like a interview process, like some sort of like test, and so that was sort of where we wanted to go with Roy, the idea that like, and also just like how dark, it's also, I think they did it on Star Trek, right? There's a famous Star Trek episode, right?
Inner Line.
Yeah, there you go. And I didn't even know that. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, but I completely forgot about that episode.
Drinking that much, I mean,
yeah, exactly. My memory is failing me because of that record. But and just drinking in general. But yeah, so that whole thing, man, it's just a crazy concept. Like when we die, if we're just like this was like a crazy, time warp. It's like actually only 5 minutes in squid alien time, but like to us, it's a whole lifetime. And then it's like that's so dark and weird and like just sad the way Morty's life is, and this like his poor life that he lives. And then Rick is so good, like he's just immediately off the grid. So good. That was all Harmon. He's a genius.
Go over to this side. I see it. Yeah, right there with the red headgear going on.
What's the funniest or like most ridiculous thing you've been able to say on the show?
Oh God, I don't know. I feel like it's got to be from an interdimensional cable episode. Because I actually do drink when I record those as well. But not
At the end of this, are you going to have admitted to drinking during
just during interdimensional cable sketches. I'll like sip. At the time, I was sipping Hennessy. I wasn't chugging it. I was just sipping it. So like, and I'll be in the booth for like 4 or 5 hours, just making up nonsense. And then on the other side of the glass, it'll be. It's usually like Abed and our friend, like my friend Brian Weissel, Abed Gaith, his brother. I think Ridley's usually over there. And and I'm just they'll round robin and pitch me stuff, and then I'll have stuff that I've got. But yeah, I feel like that's got to be the dumbest stuff because it's not scripted, and it's just I'm a little drunk, and it's just super nonsense. Like Octopus Man, is that in an episode? That's actually so yeah, like that Octopus Man thing. I am wasted. You can hear how drunk I am. Like I'm Octopus Man. I don't even know. Like I kill people. Like I'm a marine biologist too. It's like I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just like super drunk. And then we cut that together and give it to a storyboard artist, and they're just like, okay, and they just storyboard it. It is the funniest way to do a cartoon because it's just like nobody would do that. It's crazy. Why would you do that?
I have to momentarily shell for my friends at Cards Against Humanity. They basically did that with a comic book where they just have just incomprehensible garbage that they gave to people to draw. And so you can go to their booth down, I think it's 938 in the South Hall, $4. It's the most ridiculous, incomprehensible comics you've ever read.
That's incredible. And then the artist gets to sort of like on our show for Interdimensional Cable. Like most of those are just, here's the audio, I have no idea what this is. Just storyboard whatever you think it should be. And so like for Turbulent Juice, I literally, in my mind, I had a whole different visual idea of what that would be. And then I just let Juan, who's now a director on the show, storyboard that. And it was insane. I was like, what the fuck is this? They're like all muscular and like, it was like I don't even know. I'm like talking about muscular mayonnaise. Like, what is that? It's not even a thing. And then it's like real turbulent juice. And it's just like, what is turbulent juice? Like, and like, is that the one where they squirt it on the toilet and it gets all clean? Yeah. So it's just like, what the? It's so crazy. But yeah, that's definitely all the interdimensional cable stuff is like the weirdest stuff.
This way in the back, cosplayer, way at the very back wall. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you are the only person.
You're gonna have to shout.
Project to the back wall. I hype you up like that.
Wait, you're asking like what other shows do I like?
Creating and acting at the same time.
Oh, so creating the show and acting in it, right? It's awesome. I mean, well, like getting to go and direct the actors and then also do the voices. I can have a lot of fun with it. Like I can sort of like I can go off script and like run scenes with the characters and like play with the scene. And sometimes that stuff ends up getting used, actually a lot, because it's just more natural and weird, or just, I'm kind of dyslexic, so I'll say things the wrong way, and like, that's actually good for the character, or characters sometimes, or it's just funny. But it's definitely like, you're busy, you're pretty busy when you're doing all of that, because, I mean, there's so much, so many layers of production, you know, it's like we're writing, and then we're recording, then we're cutting the radio play, then we're launching the storyboard, then we look at thumbnails, give notes on the thumbs, then they go to cleans. I mean, you guys probably all know this, right? Like, this is boring stuff. But anyways, so yeah, and then we get the final animatic back, and...
Can you sing the Swiftie song?
Oh my god. There's a funny story behind that song, by the way.
Does it involve drinking?
No, actually, you'd think. So there's a Flash game called like the Rick and Morty shitty thrown together Flash. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the shitty licensed Flash game or whatever. And there's a part of the game, it's a point and click adventure game, and there's a part in the game where you go into Summer's bedroom and you get her iPod. And they needed songs. So I ran to the booth and I just recorded those in one take. I recorded all the songs. So like the Swiftie song and then the other one that they sing later in that episode. And then there's a bunch of them we did. I think we did like 5 songs. And I didn't give a shit. I was just like, I just gotta hurry and do this so I can get back up in the writer's room. And we had no idea that that was gonna become, like all the writers were listening to those songs while we were doing season 2. And then Dan was like, we have to do a music episode with these songs in them. And it was never even supposed to be Rick singing. I always like just thought it was some other character, but I guess it sounds enough like him. And then Morty clearly is like he's like, oh yeah! And it's like, that's not Morty's voice, it's just, you're just like, whatever, who cares? Like,
You stood up and said, I'm going to be the next question.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and I was just wondering, I know this is a very generic question, you probably ask this a lot, but what is your absolute favorite episode of the entire series?
Pick favorite child, Justin.
I think it's a tie. Well, if I have to pick one, I guess, like, I really love the Perch episode, but my favorite, I love that episode so much. I know it's not universally heralded as, like, the best of our episodes, but I love it. And then, I think my favorite is the first interdimensional cable. I feel like that was just an incredible, because, like, the A side of the story is so, like, grounded and, like, you know, emotional and, you know, it's such a crazy story, and then the B side is just so dumb. But they come together so beautifully at the end. That episode is really, really good.
Thank you, love your show!
Thank you!
This guy stood up, so it's not going to be him, it's you right here in the front.
Hey, don't look at me, guys.
Hey, I'm
on your side.
That's the whole reason I'm here, because he needs a bad guy.
Thank you very much. I have a question about your guest stars. How, like, do they come to you, or do you reach out to them? And I want that question answered in the voice of Lemongrab, please.
Oh God. I don't think I can do Lemongrab. No, jeez. I know, that's Morty. Oh, come on, Rick. Jeez. And then Lemongrab's like, I don't even know like how would Lemongrab even talk. Okay, so seriously, the season 1 and 2 we make offers to people, but then like I feel like lately for 3 we've been getting people like Susan Sarandon reached out to us, which was insane. And we were like, yes, of course, and we had a really good part for her to play. And then I think also that happened with Christian Slater, like he reached out to us. And then I've been getting more and more of those. Like Courtney Love, who is not in season 3, but she's a fan of the show, which is insane. And so I'm like, well, maybe season 4? I don't know. But yeah, it's been pretty rad. And I'm now keeping a list on my phone of all these people that I want to use that want to be on the show.
Have any of them come in and said, do Lemongrab?
Lemongrab is the hardest character to do. It's brutal. And on season 1, there's an episode with Lemongrab where it's like a bunch of Lemongrabs, like, and I'm doing them all. So like the cast list was my name like 19 times, and then Jeremy Shada and John DiMaggio, and it was just like, oh my God, I'm doing all these characters. And then it was a 3-hour record, and when I finished the record, I went back to the writers' room, and this was around the Meeseeks episode. We were about to record the Meeseeks episode, season 1, and I'm in the writers' room, and I do the voices a lot in the room, like running a scene, or someone's pitching an idea, and I'll be like, Morty, let's act this scene out and see if it's any, like, maybe making fun of the writer, or sometimes like reinforcing their idea accidentally. Like, oh geez, this idea sucks. Yeah, Morty, let's see what it sounds like. Let's put it to the test. But I went back to the writer's room, and I started to do that, and I literally couldn't do Morty's voice. It was gone. Like, my Morty voice was gone. I had to go to an ENT. It was like, I had to not talk for like 2 weeks straight. I was using this app to talk to people. I still have the app. It's called TalkBot. And everyone thought I was depressed because the app makes you sound so sad. Watch some of this. I used to have to like literally do this. I'd be talking to somebody and I'd play this.
I am not sad, I swear.
By the way, this is the voice we use for the butter robot. Yeah. Because like my voice was gone, and I was using this, and then we needed that robot voice, and I'm like, oh, let's just use this voice. It's like he sounds so sad already. It's perfect. It's because everyone's like, are you okay? Like, are you okay? Like,
I am not sad, I swear.
it sounds so sad though.
I can't not call on somebody holding up a pickle.
Yeah.
Any chance for the actual Two Brothers movie?
Two Brothers movie?
Yes.
Oh my God, that would be a very, very weird movie to write. I mean, I guess it's all there in the trailer. It's just like, okay, now how do we connect all of these pieces into a somewhat coherent narrative? Probably not. Probably never happen.
Let's see, somebody over here, right there with the devil horns. Yeah, but you're the only one holding up devil horns. Don't look behind yourself. You. Yes, hail Satan, get up.
I'm about to go all psychological and shit, but do you think that voicing Rick and Morty is basically like arguing with yourself, but like, do you feel like it's the two different personalities of yourself?
Kind of. I feel like I feel like there's a lot of Dan in Rick, a lot of Harmon in that character. But when I'm like riffing a scene, yeah, it's interesting. I'm more Morty than Rick. I feel like I exemplify a lot of his characteristics. What? Oh shit. That's awesome. Did you do that?
I drew it.
That's a badass drawing.
Thank
Love
you.
it. But yeah, I feel like I don't know. It is weird because I used to do, like, when I was a kid, I would do Beavis and Butthead like back and forth horribly, and now it's super surreal to hear people doing Rick and Morty like because I'm like, I used to do that with Beavis and Butthead. It's so weird that we've created characters that are like fun to do voices. You know, it's like people have fun doing these characters. But yeah, it is weird. It's like talking to yourself, and then we'll take it into the edit. We'll sort of like overlap it so they're interrupting each other, you know, so I don't know, it's like, really tight editing for the audio. I can't actually overlap myself. I wish I could. That'd be quite the thing. If I could
You're
do that.
against the wall.
I was just wondering, do you get recognized? Like, are you able to walk on the street, or do people like mob you at this point?
Definitely not mobbed, but I've noticed just since April that I've been getting recognized a lot more going out, which is really interesting because who was I just telling this to? I was telling it to Charlie Adler. You guys know him?
Yes.
Yeah. So we were talking, and he was like, "That's pretty nuts, man. Not a lot of voiceover people or just people in animation get recognized." And I was trying to figure out why, and I think it's probably a lot of the BTS stuff. It's probably like Ethan and Hila. H3, yeah. I love those guys. Those guys are really, really dear friends of mine. If you don't know H3 Productions on YouTube, it's really good stuff. But yeah, I feel like it's happened a lot since April, since the premiere of season 3. But not like mobbed. They're just like, and everyone's really, really nice. Like everyone.
People at a time come over to you?
Yeah, like a couple people will just sort of like come up to me and ask me, "Are you Justin?"
And start something and more people come over. And
I haven't had like a big. I had that happen once, like at the mall, where a few other people. But like it's usually just one person, and then that's it, and then no one else notices.
You get to take the whole crowd to Sbarro.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Let's go to Sbarro's. We have a Sbarro gag in this season.
Wait a minute, hat over there on the wall.
Are you raising Mr. Felipe's butthole back?
I'm not gonna say.
Would you say? Let's rephrase. Would you say you're opposed to bringing?
Oh no, not at all.
Oh.
No, not at all opposed to that.
Interesting. Doing jumping jacks, cardio at 6 o'clock. Come on. Yeah.
So it's got a question. Does Terry Folds have a preference for who holds this whole weekend?
I'm actually really glad I called him. Honestly, I was worried for him.
So many people are like asking me about that song. That's another song that Aussie from Chaos, I don't know if you guys know that band. They have the song "Do You Feel It," which is at the end of the Unity episode. So I had her write the bed to that song, and then I took it into the booth, and again, just really quickly, one take. Like I just made that shit up. I don't even know what I'm saying. And then I was gonna do another take, and I started, and then I was like, fuck it, it's fine. Like, just use that one. And then I gave her that audio, and then she did all the backing vocals under it, and she made it sound like so good. And then her sister Chloe, the drummer in the band, like did all these amazing drum beats on it. It sounds so much better than it should. It really does. It's on iTunes, by the way. Terry Folds. Yeah. And Spotify.
What is this you're holding? Is that a diaper? It's a full
Yeah,
diaper?
no, it's a diaper.
Okay, it's a gift? A gift wrapped in a diaper, or the diaper is the gift?
I think it's pronounced GIF. Bad joke.
Well, he's coming up. I didn't invite him up, but he's on his way. Well, sometimes you think you're going to get a question.
What is this?
It's
Oh, wait a minute. Dude. I signed some of these for by the way, I am so sorry about that line. Like, if you didn't get into it. I'm so sorry about the wait, like, it's insane. Like, and I'm trying to go fast, but I also want to talk to everybody. So.
We expected that it was going to be crazy. We didn't expect it was going to be that crazy.
Yeah.
Let's just
This dude's jumping the line, man. Bribes are accepted now. Look, Psylocke has a sword, and frankly, I don't want to piss her off.
I was just wondering what your weirdest interaction with like a child fan is, where you're like, that's a little inappropriate, you shouldn't say these things.
I've definitely like had like kids that I'm like, you're like your kid, how old is your kid? You're letting your kid watch our show? I'm like, yeah, it's cool. But I haven't had any kids like shock me with like language or do anything crazy. They're always really sweet. It's more just like, I can't believe you let your kid watch my show to the parents, I think like 6 years old was the youngest, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood. Yeah, I was like, your kid's gonna be really interesting.
That's the wall. Yeah.
I cannot take credit for that. So that would have been Carlos and James McDermott, who is our art director on season 1. Actually, yeah, I think it was for sure James McDermott designed Bird Person. And like he did a bunch of them, and then I redrew his face. That's all I did. It was like I drew his face, and I'm like, this face. But everything else they did. He did like belly hanging out and like kind of chubby, you know, like he's not fit really. But yeah, that was the launch note anyway. It's like let's make him kind of not fit, but they went with it, ran with it.
Now everybody thinks holding up a sword is the gimmick. Right here on the edge.
Changing it up.
Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta do part here. So, first of all,
It better be great.
Oh,
Another bribe!
Oh yeah!
but unfortunately I have like 4 computers.
What is this?
Cheesecake.
Oh my God, seriously? Oh wow, thank you. Amazing.
And
I also
weed in
accept
it?
cheesecake.
second question is, have you ever actually played any of your Rick and Morty games, like the virtual reality or
Oh,
Pocket
yeah.
Mortys?
Yeah, absolutely. Like when Pocket Mortys came out, it's one of the reasons why season 3 took so long. Not really. But there was like a good week where we were all just binging the all the writers were playing it and we were not writing. Or it was bad. It was really bad. And finally we were like, we have to, come on, fuck, we need to work. And then virtual reality, I worked really closely with Alchemy on that. And those guys are amazing. They've since been bought by Google, so. But yeah, that was a fun, I was getting builds like regularly, going in, playing, hearing the temp, and then I'd go in the garage and record my version of the, I would rewrite it, but still, you know, sort of hitting all the lines that need to be hit. But yeah, I still play that game. It's so weird in VR. Like, it is the weirdest, like, VR is so amazing. I don't know why it's not catching on quicker.
I own a copy of it too, actually.
It's so cool, right? Do you have a Vive or an Oculus?
Oculus.
Okay, yeah. The Vive is insane. It's just more expensive. It's like, I think that's why I just answered my own question. Why is it catching on? Because it's expensive. It's very expensive. But yeah, room scale VR is like life-changing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Holding up 3 swords.
Level amount. Do you have anything you really love to do to get into like character or get into the voice before a long shoot?
For Rick, the only thing I don't need to do anything for Morty. For Rick, I will get like a really shitty low-calorie beer just for the burps, because it's and I usually will do it towards the end of the record, and I'll go back and like there's certain lines I'll circle while I'm recording, and then like doing burp takes is such a pain in the ass that like. He kind of burps a lot less now because it's like, I mean, it still happens, but it's like, it's like used to be like a thing every episode. I'd have all these burp takes I'd go back and do. It was such a process. Like I'd tell the engineer, just leave it open, just leave it open, like keep it rolling. I don't know when this burp's coming, but we all have to wait. And then eventually I'd think, okay, here, come here. Like, Morty, I'm gonna take, whatever it is, you know. But yeah, like, and then Sarah Chalke can just burp on command effortlessly. And I'm just like, I'm so jealous of that. I can't do that. I don't know how people do that.
Let's hear it.
Great, yeah.
So regarding your interdimensional TV show, I have a question regarding the personal space episode.
Yes.
Does the personal space episode have anything to personally do with you yourself, or was that just something you came up on the spot and just went personal space?
Yeah, no, it was literally had nothing to do with me. It was like, I think somebody on the other side of the glass pitched something that had nothing to do with what I did. I don't know what they pitched, and then I don't even know if I heard their idea, and then I just did that, and it was, I don't even know, it was just like, you could tell I'm a little drunk there too if you listen closely. And I'm just like, yeah, like, hey, I'm Michael Phillips, or whatever his name is, and this is Personal Space Show. Yeah, it's like, just nonsense. And then he's like, come on, and it's like, what is even going on, dude? Like, that show is so weird, that thing is so weird. What's that?
One of my favorite parts of the series.
Oh, thank you, yeah.
I saw somebody, are you trying to bribe me with a Speed Racer Blu-ray? No, like that's not for me? Okay, you can ask a question anyway.
So I'm Malkiel. I just wanted to say thanks first for making Rick and Morty, and second for letting my friend Dave record you drunk calling me a piece of shit last night.
Oh, that was that, what's it called? Yeah, there you go.
DVDs, yeah.
Yeah.
everybody there was terrified to go up to you, and he just went up and just asked you to call me a piece of shit.
Yeah.
My question was though, was there anything that made it into any episode of Rick and Morty where you just like feel some sort of like underlying shame over it? Like you kind of wish it didn't make it in? Back in your head.
Yeah.
You called him a piece of shit, and now it's gonna make you feel it.
I feel like I'm the only one probably, but like the shit on the floor lyric I know everyone loves it, but I cringe sometimes.
Way more affection for shit in this room than I thought.
Shit on the floor, really? Like, because again, I did that in one take. Like, I wasn't thinking it would ever be used outside of that video game, so I was just like, I didn't care. And but I guess not caring is sometimes the best attitude to have when you're going in to make stuff. But yeah, that's maybe that.
Probably the coolest gun I've seen held up so far.
What's your favorite Rick insult?
Oh God. I think there's a dig on Summer in. Oh, what does he say? It's in the Love Pandemic episode, or yeah, there you go, Rick Potion number 9 episode. And I can't remember what it is though, but it's like when she calls him a dick. Like she goes, "You're such a dick."
On the toilet.
What is it?
Texting on the toilet. They all have pink eye because she won't.
Yeah. That's another one. I think my favorite are the ones where they're digs at Summer for some reason. I just think it's so funny that he has that relationship with Summer, because then she'll throw it back at him. Like Morty kind of takes it, but Summer will like quit back, which is pretty awesome. There's a scene in an episode that's coming up. It's a couple episodes down the road where I'm not gonna say too much, but there's a great moment between Rick, Morty, and Summer that makes me laugh every time.
Again with the swords. Well, that's more like a pole arm, so let's go there. Yeah. It's a middle finger pole arm. I'm properly classifying your weaponry. Allow me to do that, please.
I know you say you try to avoid the Reddits and whatnot, so it doesn't get into your head. But I wonder if you've come across any fan theories that you really like about the show.
I've seen a few, like in season 1, we had this idea. I'm not going to even say what it is, but we had this idea that we were going to do. We believed something about the characters, and we were going to maybe work our way to that eventually. And we're like, no one will ever see this coming. And then like literally the show premieres, and like within the first 4 episodes, someone on Reddit like literally wrote this theory, and we were like, fuck, all right, we're not doing it. Like, we're like,
the outline.
Yeah, we bailed. We were like, forget it. But we wrote the whole first season thinking like this would be like we weren't like writing this like in this direction, but we were definitely making sure that we weren't writing anything that would make it not doable. But now we've completely ruined it, because like season 2 and 3, it's like we can't even do it. But yeah. That happened once.
Oh man.
Okay, the double middle finger, because I keep seeing it.
Second of all, I want to ask, especially since you said that the whole song thing was never meant to be aired. Do you usually do you predict when something that you said will become a meme, practically? Or
No.
Usually as pressure? And is there something that you expected will become big and didn't?
I feel like we all were thinking that, well, first of all, we never know. Like, we have no idea. It's always a surprise. But with Noob from the Vindicators episode, we were all thinking Noob would be popular, but we weren't sure. You know, we didn't know for sure. Like, I feel like when we try, like, oh, this is gonna be popular, it usually is not. Or it's like, you never know. It's like, and also episodes, like certain episodes we think, oh, this one's gonna suck, people aren't gonna like this one, and then that's the one that everyone loves, and we're just like, what the fuck? Like, we thought the first episode of season 2 with the like fractured screens and stuff, we thought that was like our worst episode ever. And then everyone was like, no, this is like my favorite episode of the show. I still think it's kind of a weak episode, but I don't know, people really like that episode. It's very weird.
Also,
Oh.
Ryan, would you call my friend a dick too? You missed the panel?
Yeah? What's your friend's name?
Josh, this is Dick. I'll record it.
Josh, you're a dick.
A lot more people are suddenly interested in raising their hands. Oh, the Dread Pirate Roberts. I've been admiring your sword every single Q&A I've seen you in. You can give me the sword. No, go ahead.
We'll talk after. I mean, as you would. Justin. I'm hoping you can settle something between my wife and I. Do you believe in true love?
I do, actually, yeah. I do.
I wasn't expecting that.
I mean, you know, I'm pretty cynical, but I do believe in love, yeah. It's a terrifying emotion to have.
I think that's amazing. Also, this guy has got the most amazing fretful Rick cosplay.
Could you come over here for a moment?
Oh my god. He's got the gun.
Yeah.
It's so great.
You probably have a question, right?
I was just wondering, throughout all the seasons, there's obviously been many iterations of Rick, like Tiny Rick or Toxic Rick or Tiny Rick. Which one's your favorite and why?
Oh, Tiny Rick for sure. That was really fun to record. Because I feel like that was sort of, where were we? We were like pretty deep into season 2 writing, and it was interesting because I was doing regular Rick for that episode, for the bookends, and it was kind of, it just was like, I don't know, something happened when I started doing Tiny Rick, because he's just so much more like happy and energetic, and like, you know, he's like, I'm Tiny Rick, let's go, come on, Summer, we're gonna have fun today, you know, it's like he's so upbeat, and I had so much fun doing that, like playing Rick that way, because he's usually kind of not that way. So yeah, that was a blast.
What is this? Is this a notebook you've got?
Penis.
Yeah.
It says
penis.
Penis. All right.
What was your first impression of Dan and Harmon, and what do you guys have most in common? What do you like, any episode that you have, you guys like bring most?
So you're asking what is it like working with him?
Yeah.
What was your first impression of him?
Oh, my first impression of him. It's funny, I think a lot of people's first impression of Dan is that he hates them. Like, I met Dan in 2004, and I thought he hated me. Everybody did that. We started, like, we were all hanging out, that group back then, and we were like I heard other people go, I think Dan hates me, like, I don't think he likes me, and I'm like, yeah, me too, I don't think he likes me either. And then you find out that that's not true at all, you're projecting that onto him. But then, so then as I got to know him and become friends with him, new people would come into the group and they would say, like, I think Dan hates me. And I'd be like, no, believe me, he doesn't hate you. We've all gone through this. Like, it's not him. Or maybe he is projecting something, like some energy, but he doesn't actually hate anybody. And then I don't know, I feel like we're really similar sensibility-wise. Like, we're very similar. Like, we think the same things are funny, and we are super, super into sci-fi, and we think the same, you know, weird, crazy stories are funny. So we're pretty in sync, I think, comedically and creatively.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, gotta go right here.
Hi, nice to see you.
Hi.
I was wondering, do you have a particular character you prefer to voice or enjoy voicing more?
You know, it would be fun to do. I wish Hirsch would do more Gravity Falls, because that was always really fun to do. And who knows, maybe he'll come back to it in a bunch of years, or maybe do a movie. I don't know. Believe me, that's not like, don't put that in your blog or anything. I have no idea.
He's just begging and praying and hoping.
I'm just hoping. But yeah, and then I don't know, it'd be cool to do, like, what was a character that I was, oh god, it'd be funny to do Winnie the Pooh. Like, it's funny because I can't do a good Winnie the Pooh, but like, I think I can. It's like, Christopher Robin's. to the, it's just Morty basically. Christopher Robbins, we have to go to the forest, Christopher Robbins. I'm Winnie the Pooh. Christopher Robbins, please. Take me to the forest.
He's almost like a sibling to the lemon.
Yeah, when I was at Disney, I used to do that. I would go into Eric Coleman's office. He was like the head of TV animation at Disney. And I would just sit there and go, you gotta cast me as Winnie the Pooh. Just listen. And I go, Christopher Robbins. And he's just, get the fuck out of my office. I'm trying to work. I won't leave until you cast me as Winnie the Pooh.
Thank you.
Alright, the inflatable MSI sword. That's the most excited someone's been about silicon chips.
Yeah.
So semi-joking question and an actual question. So what is Israel? What's that?
It's just something Rick talks about in a completely,
And my actual question, I know that some artists use their work as a way of dealing with personal problems. Would you say that the writing with this particular season has been reflective of Dan's divorce?
That's an interesting question. I don't think, at least not consciously. I definitely think that he's probably able to tap into some stuff from that, but geez, that'd be a question for him. I don't want to speak for him, but I feel like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that makes its way into the show that's from our actual lives. Like the Szechuan sauce is an example. that was me, you know. I've been talking about that for like, you know, ever since I've known these guys, like Dan and everybody. And so they know about how obsessed I was with that sauce. And the fact that we got a jug of it from McDonald's is so bizarre to me. It was delicious, yeah. I mean, I'm really conflicted about, like, you know, I don't want anyone to think that we're selling out to, like it's a very fine line. But, so I was very careful with how we, like, followed up with that stuff. But yeah, like it was delicious, and that was a real thing. And then also the scene in the Parasite episode where Rick is coming in with the Nintendos, all the 3DS, that's a real thing that I did. Like I literally did that the Thanksgiving before, and then I came into the writer's room and I was telling everybody about it, and they were just like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like, so I bought 36. Nintendo, those gold, like, Zelda, you know, Link Between Worlds. I'm not a scalper, though. Like, I hate scalpers. But I bought 36 of them because I was getting them for $110. I was like, this is crazy. How can you not? They were $250 systems I'm getting for $110. And then I donated a bunch of 2DSs to charity just to, like, make myself feel better about it. I literally still have 15 of them. I have 15 of those.
I do accept bribes.
Well, so I'm gonna sign some of them and sell them on witchsea.com. If you guys know that website, Witchsea, it's a great website. If you don't know it, you should check it out. They sell amazing art and stuff.
We're gonna do your next question, but you brought up the Szechuan sauce.
Yeah.
I told you I had something to surprise you with. So at Boston Comic Con, I hosted a Q&A with Ming-Na Wen. Mulan would love to be on your show.
Oh my god.
Someone asked her about the Szechuan sauce thing, and she was like, "Yeah, it's like all over social media. This is crazy." And I mean, my people invented the Szechuan sauce, so I figured they know me.
Yeah.
So I mean, are you
down?
Are you just gonna find a reason?
Oh my god, yeah, that'd be amazing. I'd be down to have one. Yeah.
So you heard it here first.
Yeah.
We got a little less than 10 minutes left. What?
Oh, waffles. Yeah, the waffles.
Waffles.
We'll give it to the waffles.
I have a really good segue on the last question you made, talking about how creations always have a little bit of their creator. So I was wondering, who on the Rick and Morty team has contributed the most to Gary?
Oh man, Jerry's like such a Charlie Brown character, right? God, I feel like there's a little bit of Ridley in Jerry. I definitely a lot. Like I wouldn't say like I feel like Harmon writes Jerry thinking about Ridley. that's such a burn on Ridley. And then I know Mike McMahon, one of our writers, like really knows how to write Jerry, like really, really well. I mean, Jerry's a really easy character to write for though, because Parnell's amazing. So Parnell comes in and it's like, he can just do it, like his first take. What's that? He can. Like he'll come in and like his first take is like, circle it, we got it. But let's get a couple more just because. But yeah, he's like, he reads the script, he gets it, he comes in. Not to say the other cast doesn't, they're all great, but Parnell's crazy. Like he just like kills it, like every single take. He's just a pro. I mean, the guy was on SNL, so it's like, that's a beat grinder, that show.
We got time for a couple more. So these both have to be the people who wanted the absolute worst, the absolute most, more than anybody. Yeah, there you go. Tallest person in the room, standing on a chair.
Never heard that before. I was wondering, because Rick and Morty ties in so many other things kind of as like tropes throughout the show, would you ever consider actually doing like a crossover with another company and like actually bringing in the proper characters and voice actors and having a full...
I would love to do that.
Alex Hirsch.
Yeah, everyone wants the Gravity Falls crossover.
Which franchise would you choose?
What's crazy about our show is because like Rick's Portal Gun can cross over into any reality. Like we were talking about doing some crazy thing with a bunch of different shows. It'd have to probably be, it'd probably be a lot easier to do if it was like Cartoon Network or Turner properties. I think it gets kind of messy or complicated when you start trying to do it with other networks properties. Like that's why the Gravity Falls thing, like, I don't know if Disney would want to, it's like, I don't know if Disney would want to such ones. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I definitely think we could do it. I was thinking of like an Adventure Time thing would be really cool. So I was like thinking something like a regular show thing would be cool. I don't know, there's a bunch of like those kind of things, those shows.
That would be an amazing comic book crossover. This is going to be the last one. You have to want it the most and know that it's a good question. And your heart, you have to know in your heart. Dancing and wailing in a fox costume wins.
Oh my god.
Go for it.
Yeah, so Beth's mom is sort of we're scared, man, like to go there. Because like we have several ideas. We have actually have a handful of ideas. And you can't unjump that shark, like once we do that. What? That's really funny. Yeah, I think there's that angle. It's like, is she a badass like him? Is she like, we've talked a lot about it, about Beth's mom in the writer's room, and yeah, I mean, we know things about her, like we know stuff about her, fundamentally, like the writers do, but we don't know enough. And yeah, it's one of those things that like, once you tell that story, you're gonna alienate a certain percentage of fans, because they're gonna be like, that's not what I wanted. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a big deal that certain people, no matter what you do, are gonna be bummed out. So part of us right now, we're all kind of just like terrified to go there. We have a really crazy Rick and Beth episode this season that hasn't aired yet, and it was it's good. It's a good episode. It's really good, and it was hard to write because we had to sort of dig into their past a little bit and sort of and we had to know stuff that we didn't really know. But yeah, so yeah, that stuff's scary when you kind of have to like, you don't want to jump any sharks, like you want to make sure that you don't do anything. That's why we constantly are moving forward, I feel like, and not really looking back. There's not a lot of reuse. There's very few characters that we bring back, despite being fan favorites, because we'll sit and talk about V-Seeks for like a week in the writer's room, and we're just like, well, are we just doing this to do it, or do we actually have a really good story to tell? And a lot of times it feels like we're just doing it to do it. So when the V-Seeks come back, if they come back, it'll be for a good reason, It'll be like, we'll have some really cool new angle, new fresh angle on it. Yeah.
So frankly, I don't think Beth's mom exists.
Interesting.
In all the world and all the episodes, we haven't seen her once. And I feel like we should have seen her at least once by now.
That's a very good theory. We've talked about that. We like in the writers' room. It's right now it's Schrodinger's cat because we have until we lock it down, we don't know. But that's definitely come up, and then a bunch of other crazy ideas have come up, and then some pretty normal, standard fare ideas have come up about Best Mom.
So just a couple little things before we go. You're in Canada, we're both Americans in a wonderful, beautiful foreign country. Have you gotten to do anything distinctly Canadian? Have you had poutine?
I did last night.
Yeah.
This is my second time in Toronto. I was here 2 years ago, the exact same weekend, literally. What's that? Beaver tails, okay. Okay.
I actually need to go for beaver tails.
Okay. Okay, I'll do that. And then I went to Roots and I got 2 hoodies. And then I got, because I bought a hoodie 2 years ago and I lost it, and I was so mad. And then I also got a tin of these maple mints. Do you know what I'm talking about at Roots? I'm not even going to eat them. You just open it and smell them. It's like, God, oh my God. I'm going to get another 10 of those. But yeah, Toronto's amazing, at least this time of year. I hear it's horrible in the winter. But I don't know. I haven't experienced that.
You're here tomorrow as well?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to be here all day tomorrow.
Everybody should come and see him. You know, maybe we'll find a way to sneak you over to the Comics Artist Alley.
I'd love to.
Or something like that.
Yeah. But I always feel bad because if there's a lot of people in the line, I don't want to. Like I felt so bad leaving the line just now to come to do this because there was still so many people and I know they've been waiting forever. So I don't know how they organize that. Like if you were in line for an hour and then you got cut off, do you get like some sort of thing that means you can cut the line? No?
We had 500 tickets, and then that was the cap, and they gave those out by 12 o'clock, 12:30 this morning, and they said if you reached 500.
Okay. Oh my God.
So you're in luck in that I'm the guy who makes trouble for the upper management because I find ways to make things work and make everybody happy. So come and see him tomorrow, and we're going to try to make sure that we get through as many people as we possibly can. The one thing we can't control is how insanely popular this show is, which is an incredible thing.
Thank you guys so much. Seriously. I love all you guys. Like we have the best fans, I swear.
All right, let's hear it one more time for Justin Morty.